What up, people? We're at 10th Planet Austin at the Honda Gym, and we were just rolling pretty hard. Got smoked by Skull. He's off there stretching in the background, but we can put the footage of that. So what we want to talk about is how do we achieve the mind that we want? How do we achieve a peace of mind so we're happy with our full expression? This is always key whenever we're ourselves. Our values are expression, right? And so when our values are expression, that's got to come from a place which is us. If it's coming from a reaction, meaning that we're in pain, trying to get out of pain, or if we're in pain and we see safety or the goal is the opposite of the pain, we can oftentimes screw ourselves. And so this question kind of came in with what happens when our mind is running, and our mind is running and we can't make it stop. And if we do make it stop, possibly we run into a place where we don't like, or we feel discomfort. And so a lot of times when I deal with guys, especially in recovery from addiction, or if they have PTSD, or they're working out some kind of trauma, we stay busy. And I can't recommend, if you're in that mode, to stay busy, because you don't want to get dysfunctional, you want to get functional. If I'm at a point in my life where it's very hard for me to have good relationships, where it's very hard for me to stay clean, where it's very hard for me to not cause harm, to not cause damage, or let's say we're in a breakup and we keep wanting to call the ex back, it's best to stay busy, because with idle time, an idle mind, devil's playground or whatever, but with idle time, I'm gonna pick up that phone and call the ex. With idle time, I'm gonna go and do something that might fall into bad behavior. But the goal is that we wanna stay busy until we can get functional. And when we get functional, we get easy wins in the right directions that we believe in. I'm gonna share something here, because last night, I got rattled a little bit. And whenever I get rattled, I go through a protocol of things I talk about here. And what happened was, a friend of mine, he was like talking some shit, I heard about it, pissed me off, it upset me, man. And as a guy, you don't ever like to be upset, so what did I do? I picked up the phone and I called somebody. It was interesting because the guy that picked up the phone, I usually have 5 people that I call all the time. Once again, I don't want to stay idle when my mind is running from pain or not sure of what the next step is, because that next step might be the right one, like I might do the right thing, but I'm actually exercising a muscle to feed off of my fear and my pain. Whenever I seek, pain shows us where the problem is, but it doesn't show us the solution. If I'm trying to find the solution in my pain, I'm always going to get it wrong. And so I picked up the phone, and this guy was religious, and I'm not religious. He starts telling me all these like Bible verses and stuff like this, right? And he tells me something from Paul or whatever, and he's like, man, he actually said this is so crazy. He goes, Steve, you're the epitome of a guy who's done everything wrong and totally messed up your life and got out of it well. And he meant it in a real good way, and I'm like, hey, thanks, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? But anyway, so he's telling me this, and he said, what the right action is the right action is the spiritual solution. The right action is to not do anything. The right action isn't just to take the high road, but let's talk about what you believe in, man. What do you believe in? What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I believe that I want to live a good life, with my family. And we start talking about all this stuff, and he's like, okay, what's the action right now? In reply or in reaction to having shit talked on you, being kind of stabbed in the back, feeling betrayed, feeling sad about that, what's the action that a man who can honor his family? As I was talking with this gentleman about the ideal that I had. And that's the key, right? Now, sometimes I like just talking about myself and all that sort of stuff. But the moral of the story is that if we are dysfunctional, if we're afraid of the step that we are going to take, and you shouldn't have shame in being dysfunctional. It happens to all of us. You got to be able to recognize it. But we need to stay busy. But we also need to keep our eye on what's that ideal. And what's the easiest possible action that can be a win that we could make work that matches our beliefs. And so if we're going through a divorce, or we're going through a breakup, or we have some addiction problem, what do I believe in? And it could be anything. It could be like my body. Okay, what's an action I'm going to take towards that? See, the ecosystems that we built that started that relationship or started that problem with addiction or whatever is vast and huge. We're not going to change it overnight and to expect to. You're going to rise up fast, you're going to crash hard. But what you want to do is take little steps. You want to remove one bad thing and add one good thing. In any case, I'm just going to keep talking, and it's good enough. Yeah? All right. Write me letters. Write me love songs. I'll talk to you later.